Good morning to you. I am Mark Sudduth, and here's what's up in the tropics. It's Friday now, the 12th of August, 2022. We have something to keep an eye on here as we go into the weekend. National Hurricane Center indicating about a 10% chance of development from this little system here in the Gulf of Mexico. It is expected to track off to the southwest, maybe bringing some higher rain chances where you desperately need it for portions of South Texas and the interior areas of that region. I'm not too concerned with this becoming a storm surge or a big wind event. Any onshore flow in Texas can bring the water levels up a little bit, and we have to watch that heavy rain potential because, remember, heavy rain is an impact. We don't want to ignore it, and in this case, it could be a welcome sight as long as it is not too much in too short a period of time. We'll take a closer look at all of that in just a moment. The Eastern Pacific starting to calm down a little bit more despite this area of red. It's a little bit deceiving because National Hurricane Center says this only has a 70% chance of becoming a short-lived tropical storm before the conditions really become less favorable. And we could even see that starting to happen here on the satellite animation. The Eastern Pacific, instead of having these singular areas of deep thunderstorm activity ready to take off, it's much more scattered, just little blobs here and there, not a lot of organized deep convection as we call it. So I think the Eastern Pacific's getting ready to kind of shut down, and then the Atlantic will start to take over as we get towards the end of the month. There's our disturbance in the Gulf of Mexico. Lots of shower and thunderstorm activity there. Again, it should organize and eventually slide off to the south and west. We can see it pretty well here. This is why I like this product so much, the vorticity signature, as I call it. There it is, right there south of Louisiana, really standing out. And that little piece of energy, again, will track across towards the southwest, eventually coming in. Again, bringing some much-needed rainfall, and we'll have to just wait and see how much of that, how short a period of time, and what the flood risk could be over the coming days, and we'll certainly keep track of that as time progresses. Meanwhile, the deep tropics there, really not very busy, still a lot of dry air, mid-level dry air. The wind shear is prevalent, but not as strong. It's starting to lift a little bit more to the north. And there are certainly signals that I'm seeing people talk about on social media and elsewhere that once we get to about the 20th to the 25th, that last week of August, basically it's 2 weeks away, things are really going to start to pick up in the Atlantic. At least the opportunity will be there, and we should start to see more development out in the eastern Atlantic. Real quick, here's the GFS zoomed in on the western Gulf and vicinity, and you can see the disturbance right there. It develops just a little bit more of a concentrated area of energy as that slides into South Texas. All those colors you see there, the oranges and the reds in some instances, the deeper reds, that just indicates more of a concentrated area of spin and a bundling of the energy, and that translates into real-world rain and some wind, some onshore flow, but nothing I don't think that we need to be too concerned with in terms of major impacts for our friends there in Texas. But again, some much-needed rainfall in South Texas for sure. And as we expand this out to the rest of the deep tropics, and you can clearly see there's just not much out there. The dry air, still a big inhibiting factor. The wind shear, like I said, not as much of a problem overall. It's that mid-level dry air, which I think will start to really abate and not be much of an issue as we get towards the last third of a month. I keep saying it, but climatology is such an important tool in a season like this. And once you get to latter August, that becomes a huge factor, and I think things will change pretty quickly within just a matter of days. But between now and then, our focus will be on the system in the Gulf, not so much the eastern Atlantic. All right, that'll about do it from me for this morning. Later today, I will have a hurricane outlook and discussion, which goes into much more detail than what I cover here. So I'll post that early this afternoon. Have a great rest of your Friday morning. Again, I'm Mark Sudduth. Thanks for tuning in to What's Up in the Tropics. I'll be back with more for you in the hurricane outlook and discussion a little later on today.